listen to me, you lot. I want you to be quiet. Don't talk to me. Don't touch at me. Don't even look at me. We've notified the police. If you move, we're going to have you in jail tonight. Now, belt up. This is where the exits are. That was it. Welcome to the third episode in our Shapes Test Live Wire, where we're looking at how to build something good together by understanding our shapes and our personalities and little bits about relationship. And just to remind you, we've been looking at this book or some of the content of this book, but there are lots more subjects. There are 160 plus traits for every person's personality of the 4 shapes. So check it out. We'd love you to do that. If you've not already done it, then please make sure you take the test before you listen to this live wire. It's going to make so much more sense when you do. And also we have the shape weight, and the shape weight is a way that you can find out the order of your shapes and the percentage of your shapes and get a whole readout now about different areas of your personality that you may find really helpful, because the reality is there's different parts of us. None of us can be fitted into just 4 shapes or 4 personality types, and the shapes test is not meant to be a cage that kind of confines you and says this is who you are. It's meant to be a stage, something you can define yourself from, and we're going to look at definitions. So in the first episode we looked at collaboration, in the second episode we looked at conflict, and in this episode we're going to be looking at how to communicate and help others understand who you are. And when we talk about who you are, there are kind of 3 parts to us when we think about how we connect with other people, especially when we try to build something together. There's our ability, for instance, so you're not just a personality. All of us, even with the same shapes, we have different abilities, and our abilities are important. I'm not a big fan of believing that because of a personality you should do a certain job. So just because you are fun and like to persuade people, if you're a star, doesn't necessarily mean you should be a car salesman, for instance, or just because you like to process thoughts doesn't mean you're intelligent enough or a good communicator to be a professor. So there's your ability, which is really important, and we're going to look at your ability and how that's affected by your personality in a few moments. But there's also our character or our morality. Our morality are the choices that we make based on our character, based on whether we want to do good or we want to do ill. And we talked in the first episode about the importance of it being a pivot. So no matter what your character is, your personality is, I should say, or what your abilities are, what's really important is your character, because your character will determine whether you use your ability for good or for ill. And of course we have our personality, and our personality is a catalyst, but maybe not in the way that we expect. So for instance, because you're a square doesn't necessarily mean that you're competent at everything, but because you have a strong bent towards being reliable and setting up systems, it may well be that you draw out in others the best version of themselves. You help people build well together. Because you're a circle doesn't necessarily mean you're more compassionate than anybody else. It's not character traits. Sometimes, I remember somebody once lying or cheating on their application form, and they put they were a circle, and when I got to know them I thought, you're not a circle. And he went, no, actually I cheated because I thought you were looking for circles because circles are caring. But that's not necessarily true. Compassion is a character trait. You could be a triangle or a star and be more compassionate than a circle. But circles are really good at being emotionally intuitive. And so they can round out a team where that team becomes more inclusive, includes other people. So it's not something, the benefit of our personality isn't something we get to do. It's our effect on other people. You might be a star, and one of the great things about stars is, they're like fun. Doesn't necessarily mean that a star is funny, but their love for excitement and competition can bring out fun when we're doing a project together, which is always good. It's always good to be laughing when you're working together, right? A triangle, again, doesn't necessarily mean you're intelligent, but a triangle is good at pushing boundaries, questioning things, rocking the status quo, and it can help people think bigger ideas and think more strategically. So there's incredible benefit all of us bring to our teams or our relationships. So I would encourage you, when it comes to your ability, use it. When it comes to your morality, choose it. It's a choice. You can choose to use your giftings for good or for ill. It's a choice. It's down to you. And when it comes to your personality, can I encourage you to embrace it? It's a gift. Personality is a gift. Don't try and be like someone else. Learn from others, but don't try and be them, because you are unique and you are special yourself. So one of the questions I like to think about is, well, that's all good, but what if people don't understand what we want to bring? What if we're bursting with ideas, what we're bursting with just thoughts on how we could collaborate better, but people don't understand it? And that is very, very possible. Let's look at the strengths of each shape. So let's look at the squares, for instance. Squares rarely take shortcuts. They want to do it right and feel a sense of responsibility to do the things the way they are supposed to be done. These qualities can positively impact your relationship. When fully activating their desire to be dependable, they will finish what they say they will finish. Their sense of responsibility also leads them to keep confidences, meaning you can trust them with your ideas. Being a square does not necessarily make them competent at what they do, but their personality trait provides a determination to do whatever they are given to do really well. Neander from India said, "I like to be orderly and do things in a proper way and be faithful in my responsibilities." So all that's wonderful. The problem, of course, though, is that sometimes we can come across in ways that people don't understand because they have a different perspective. So for instance, you may want to offer your loyalty but may appear bossy. Squares know that if something is worth doing, it should be done right, but your pursuit of putting the right foundation into place may seem overbearing. The danger is that others may misinterpret your intentions as dictatorial and miss out on all you have to offer them. And so this is the issue, right? So we want to bring something good, but how do we help people understand our motives and why we're doing the things the way we do? And every shape has the same difficulty. For instance, with circles, they can bring intuition, empathy, and connectivity. You have an ability to make an emotional connection. A circle who reads this book is most likely steered by the hope of building a deeper bond with a few specific people. You are gifted with a kind of intuition that helps you see what other shapes miss. People are likely drawn to you because of your genuine interest in how others are feeling and your ability to see the inherent good in them. Yet more than that, your higher than average ability to show people just how interested you are in them can turn this gift into a potential superpower. People compliment me saying, "You bring people together," which is great again, but what's the downside? How might circles come across sometimes? Circles look for the positive in people, which may come across as a little sycophantic. A desire to pursue a common goal in close relational proximity may be seen by some as a little smothering. This is a shame, because when you really connect with a person, you truly commit to them and their ambitions. So again, how would a circle communicate while they're doing or while they're being the way they're being? Maybe you're a circle, maybe you felt that sometimes, that kind of pushback from people. What about stars? So a star, this book is a tool. Stars are most likely to cut to the chase in order to glean the information they desire. This stems from an ability to move quickly as you have a go-getter attitude to life. You probably have an attraction towards action and a good dollop of self-belief. You would rather do it than just talk about it. When the pragmatism is applied to relationships, you are not averse to taking a chance on people, even when others may err on the side of caution. In times of crises, you don't like to get bogged down in negativity, but move quickly to solve a problem. In better times, you can bring enthusiasm and spontaneity to any relationship. Drea said, "To me, risks don't seem like risks because in my head, it has already worked out." And that can be a problem. and this is why. Stars tend to be impulsive, which can be interpreted as not thinking things through. Your positive demeanour might even intimidate someone with a more cautious attitude. This is unfortunate because what you offer can be hugely effective as a catalyst for action. And then finally, triangles. Myself, I've noticed these problems many times. Let me talk you through them. Triangles can bring progress, strategy, and innovation. Triangles may be the ones who have the biggest issues with this book. This is because your desire to think deeply and improve upon things often involves a process of deconstruction. Due to your tendency to pursue high standards, you may push everyone else around you to achieve the fullest potential. The positive side of this is that you may well do at bringing out the best in them. Along with your preoccupation with ideas, you can help others take stock and find creative, strategic-driven solutions for their hopes and fears. Although awkward and occasionally inappropriate, in the end, your persistent probing can bring numerous benefits. Lathan said, "Making a difference is my motivation for life." But again, that can come across as very awkward indeed. So, you may want to offer your ideas, but can appear arrogant. Triangles tend to base everything on a theory or principle that they have personally bought into. This fixation on communicating the why can lead others to believe you are patronizing or that you perhaps see them as a little simple. Sadly, people may push away from your great ideas as they misinterpret your conviction for self-importance. So let's ask the question, how do we make ourselves understood? Well, I think a lot of it comes down to definition. So let me tell you what happened to me many years ago. I tend to travel a lot, and most of the time when I'm flying overseas. And so sometimes, even though I work for a non-profit, I get to choose the airline if the price isn't too difficult or too much difference, I should say. And there are certain airlines that I really like because they're British. So they have British chocolates and they have British programs, and I watch the nice TV, and the time goes by and it's not so bad. But sometimes I can't afford that, so I get wherever other airline is on offer and wherever other snacks are on offer. And many years ago, I was in Manchester, and I just was about to fly a very short trip over to Ireland, and it was just after a Manchester United game, and so the airport was packed with Manchester United fans and hooligans, and it was craziness. Somebody tried to pick a fight with me in the airport. It was crazy. And when I got on the plane, it was a no-frills plane. It was a different kind of organisation, and so it was quite inexpensive. So there was no TV, and there was no candy at all, no free chocolate, no free snacks or anything, and it was bedlam. There was arguing, people were shouting. When the flight attendant got up, they normally do this nice, kind of like with nice voice, this is where the escape route is and all these nice things, but she literally said, "Right, listen to me, you lot. I want you to be quiet. Don't talk to me. Don't touch at me. Don't even look at me. We've notified the police. If you move, we're going to have you in jail tonight. Now, belt up. This is where the exits are." That was it. And I'm there thinking, I'd like to go to the toilet, but I'm just too scared right now to even move. And I sat there for an hour or two, no snacks, in fear, no TV. But I wasn't in any way disappointed. And the reason I wasn't disappointed was they're a no-frills airline. So what they said is, hey, what we're promising is we'll get you there on time, which they did, and it'll be cheaper than anyone else, which it was. But we're not going to give you all the frills. And it was absolutely fine. And this is a benefit of knowing how to define yourself, because there are two main benefits. The first one is that people won't expect from you what they can't expect. And the second one is that people will hold you accountable for what you say you will do. And both of those things are really, really helpful. The benefit of defining who you are, understanding yourself, and the ability to make yourself understood is a wonderful, freeing process to me. I've had a few roles in my life, and I've learned to make sure in advance people know what I'm going to be able to bring and what I can't bring. So when it comes to shapes, Then we offer some language that may help you. I'm not saying you should say these exact words, but maybe this will give you a clue as to how to explain what you're bringing to the team, to the family, to the company, to the relationship. For squares, I see myself as an armor bearer. I want to support you in the best way possible, and so please forgive me if I come across as a little authoritarian. It's just that it's important to me that I do everything exactly as we've agreed, on time and correctly. I'm sorry if this may come across as though I'm telling you what to do, but in reality I'm doing it because I really need you to tell me exactly what you expect of me. Getting clear instructions from you allows me to assist you the right way. I would hate to let you down. Stephanie said, my worst fear is dropping the ball, forgetting something, and not following through. So sometimes squares can be seen as a little bit stuck in the mud. You know, you're trying to put a plan through and they seem to be slowing everything down. And it can, if you don't understand squares, feel as though they're just not interested. They're just trying to be argumentative. The reality is they want to do it well. So they need time. They need explanation. They want to process it properly. And I would encourage you, if you're a square, explain yourself to people. Let them understand your why. If you are a circle, you may say, I see myself as a confidant. I may look to the stars at times and perhaps come across as a little naive in my expectations for you, but that is just because I like to wear my heart on my sleeve. It's important for us to take the time to express our hopes and dreams with each other, because in this way, although I know we may not achieve everything we speak of, I believe it will inspire and connect us. I hope that we will always take a collaborative approach to the challenges we face together, because I see your challenges as my challenges. Murph, who's in the USA, said, sharing my weaknesses and insecurities creates an invitation into which they can share their vulnerabilities and we can journey together. Which I thought that was a brilliant insight, a fantastic insight. It helped me a lot when I thought about that. What about stars? I see myself as a cheerleader. I love momentum and see our relationship as a potential adventure. I know I may sometimes appear a little reckless, but I understand that to grow, we first have to give things a go. I like to be active and want to help you remove obstacles and move forward. I can see the positives in the issues we may face, and I want to help you see them too. Chloe, who is in England, said, we are not a shape to back down. When something challenges us, other shapes might crumble, but we explode. I thought it was really cool quote. And finally, triangles. I understand that this is the way I can come across sometimes. Please understand that I process by sharing my ideas. I know it might appear that I think I know everything, but in reality, I know that not everything I think of will work. I'm just trying out my ideas to see if they do. I want to help my world become a better place, and so I look for new principles and patterns to life. Once I discover them, I believe passing them on is the best way I can help those I care about. In saying that, I prefer not to force my opinions on others, but to be invited to share them. Alex said, I rarely offer myself or my advice unless I am first asked, but I hope that I am. Okay, so let me give you just some quick tips to putting all this together as we kind of finish our episode. We've talked about understanding ourselves. We've talked about making ourselves understood. We talked about collaboration. We talked about conflict. Let me give you some tips to communicate maybe just a little bit better. First, define yourself before others do. It's been said that when you leave a communication gap, it usually gets filled with nonsense. And I found that to be really true. Can I encourage you to define yourself before other people do? If you allow other people to define you, the results may not be so good. So just some practical thoughts on this. Say what you bring, say it early, and say it plainly. Secondly, define your uniqueness. What I've learned in life is if you want to be a more interesting communicator, don't spend most of your time telling people what they already know. You know, I've sat in meetings where someone's just talked about things and we all know it already, and it's just like, okay, what's the key thing you want to say? So I would recommend you do this. I recommend you major on what is distinctive and minor on what is generic, and then your words will carry more weight. When we researched a lot of people and said, tell us more about your shape, and we gave them some questions, people would say things like, well, I like to help people. And that's great, but most people want to help people. Most shapes want to help people. What's unique about you? What's unique about your idea? What unique thing do you bring? That's what we're looking for on a team. We want to support each other in what we already agree, but is there anything new or different or unique that you can bring? Number 3, define your potential. Let people know what you want to achieve. Let people know where you might struggle as well. Clearly explain to people, hey, in this situation, I think I could do a really good job, but I might struggle in this situation. And that might really help you. So some quick tips. Clarify where you thrive, clarify where you struggle, and invite others to help you play to your strengths. Now, we have to say that all of us are going to end up doing things that we don't particularly like to do. This is not about simply carving out for yourself all the fun stuff that you like. But the reality is, if you can help people understand where you thrive and where you struggle, but you're still committed to the whole thing, not just to your thing, then people will give you some slack and people will get around you and try and put you in that right position as best as they can. Number 4, define your values. People don't just respond to what you do, but to how you do it. That's important. Your presence is important. What you believe is important. Your values are important. When people understand them, that you're not just being funny or you're being odd, but you have some principles behind what you're saying, they're more likely to get on board. So say what matters to you. Act like it matters, and keep acting like it matters when it's tested. Stick to your values. If you're leading a group of people, if you're collaborating with others and you said this is important, don't back down. If you're in a position of authority, keep pushing forward so people really buy into your values and they really understand what you feel is important. Number 5, define your recovery. All of us are going to missay things. All of us are going to miscommunicate. All of us are going to say the wrong thing some point at the wrong time. And that's okay, it's going to happen. What is important is you define clearly as a group, how do we respond when somebody does that? And what do I need to do when I misspeak? So here's some quick tips on that. Own it fast, clarify what you really meant, reset, and move forward. Okay, so we're nearly at the end. Hopefully these really simple practical tips have been helpful. An author I like is John Maxwell, and John Maxwell said this. He said, who you are is who you attract. And I've noticed that that's very, very true in life, that who you are consistently over a period of time, you attract people like you. But I'd like to add another thought to this. Who you say you are is what those you attract will help you become. The best teams bring out the best in each other, and the best teams create a kind of environment where we can play to our strengths and we can mitigate our weaknesses. And this is what the Shapes Test is really about. It's here to help us build something good together. So let me encourage you one more time. If you've not done the Shape Way, I would encourage you to do that and to read the book, because there's so much more information in there, and to do the journey. You might find that really, really helpful. At the end of this session, we're going to look at a very simple activity, 3 questions for us to chat through, 3 questions for us to think about and then share with each other. The first one is, what is distinctive about what I bring? What do I need from others to do my best work? And finally, how should I respond when I miscommunicate? Great questions to ask as we build something good together.
And that brings the session to a close.
You can find the workshops down in the description below, and you can do this as a self-guided course, you can do it in a group, or you can even request a coach via the paismovement.com website.
We have a lot more teaching freely available on the Pais Movement official YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.
Bye.